This program's held to cost and schedule metrics that are solid. And how are you protecting against enthusiasm for the concept of operations, accidentally shielding the program from hard decisions? And then last, how will we integrate our allies into this program?
So it's a really good news, right? The platform is on schedule. They are sticking to their budget targets, and the performance is actually in many ways better than what we expected. With respect to keeping that cost down going forward, we have competition, we have open standards that allows to bring in separate contracts for different pieces of the hardware and bring on additional contractors, everywhere from the avionics to the aircraft bodies themselves and engines. So we're really trying to make sure we have a very modular open structure, which will drive those costs down going forward. And we are working closely with the allies. Matter of fact, the allies are doing investments in systems that are similar to what we're doing in the U.S. Been very optimistic. I don't know that any of those things would be considered truly attritable, but if you look at the cost trade with an adversary of CCA with a number of long-range weapons on there compared to the aircraft they might throw against them, it's a really good cost trade for us going forward. And I would just one final thing back on the family of the FAM weapon systems. Across the FIDEP, about 60% of that 30-plus thousand weapons are coming from there. So that tells you the level of investment. 60% of the weapons going forward across the FIDEP.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Collins, followed by Senator Baldwin and Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I'm pleased to see the Air Force's continued investment in the F-35 modernization, which includes the engine core upgrade and the power thermal management upgrade. In Maine, the Pratt & Whitney facility in North Berwick employs more than 2,300 people and plays a critical role in producing and sustaining the F-135 engine. This impressive facility has made substantial investments in workforce capacity to support the long-term success of the F-35. So here's my concern. The administration is proposing that a significant portion of funding for both of these modernization programs be done through a third reconciliation bill, a bill that may never happen. For example, of the $154 million request for the power thermal management upgrade for the engine, only $10 million is requested in the base budget. What is the impact on these programs if they are not fully funded in fiscal year 2027? And what would be the implications for the defense industrial base?
Thank you, Chairwoman, and I agree. It's a phenomenal engine that Pratt builds for the F-35, and we continue to modernize that engine going forward to make sure it can keep up with the rest of the aircraft. Yes, the FY27 budget request is a combination of base and reconciliation. We did not prioritize to execute the mission that we are asked to do. The total request is required. If we do not get the total request, then prioritization will have to be done within the budget we do get, and that'll be a continual dialogue with the Congress going forward.
Thank you. I would just suggest that it is taking a terrible risk and creates instability when you're counting on a third reconciliation bill for the bulk of the money rather than doing base funding through the defense appropriations bill. So
I just add one thing. I think it's safe to conclude there will not be another reconciliation bill. So it's really not an option.
I agree with that assessment. Let me switch to a different issue. Mr. Secretary, the conflict with Iran has once again underscored the importance of aerial refueling to U.S. military operations. Tankers are essential to power projection, global mobility, fighter operations, and the sustainment of U.S. forces across multiple theaters. The Air Refueling Wing in Bangor, Maine, has long played a critical role in that mission. Since 2021, and particularly during recent operations, we've seen increased activity in Bangor, reinforcing the importance of the Air National Guard tanker units to real-world operational requirements. At the same time, the Air Force has validated a requirement for up to 75 additional KC-46 aircraft and plans to continue tanker production well into the next decade. Given the strategic importance of tanker aircraft and the continued operational contributions of the Air National Guard units, such as the impressive one in Bangor, when should Congress expect the Air Force to provide a clearer roadmap for replacing the aging KC-135 aircraft across the Guard tanker enterprise?
Thanks, Congresswoman. The tanker fleet, air refueling is critical to operations anywhere in the world, as well as airlift in general is critical. And this is why in the FY27 and the FYDP budget submission, we are essentially maxing out Boeing's ability to produce, really at the max rate that Boeing's capable of producing tankers. And our intent, our strategy is to replace all the 135s in the fleet going forward. Some of those aircraft are actually older than I am. Still flying the same ones that we flew when I was a young second lieutenant. So we do know we need to replace them, and our strategy is to replace all of them. With respect to Maine, exactly phenomenal unit there. They've done great work, and they are part of the next strategic basing decision that we hope to get out a narrowing of that field by September, October timeframe, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations.
Thank you. The location is also very strategic, as you're well aware.
Yes, Mr. Chairwoman.
Just let me in ending say that I associate myself with the comments on Ukraine and the support for Ukraine and giving Ukraine the help it needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Secretary, I want to begin where the chairwoman of the full committee just left off, which is on the KC-46